Look at what the stock market is doing because this is a bullish pattern or an inverse head and shoulders. And we now have two candle closes over the 50-day moving average with a 65% chance this happens next. So what's going to happen next? Well, it's whether this is our sugar daddy, Papa Powell, or if he's Scrooge McDuck and he's going to really mess things up from here, right? Sharpen up that tie. Let's go, Jerome. So what'll be really important for us in the next few days is just whether we can get up here into 45 or back into neutral. I've been talking about this for the last couple of days, and now that we have two consecutive candle closes back above our 50-day moving average, notably yesterday with a bullish candle, hey, it has the word bullish in it. So if we're looking at a pivot and we have a bullish candle leading up into it, and then we're closing over the candle high, what does that mean? It means we're pretty bullish, and we're getting pretty close to all-time highs here. So what exactly happened? Because as of right now, we're getting awfully close. If you remember, we were talking about a potential trend change as we were going potentially lower here. We only got one lower low and one lower high. So that's not really a trend change because there's no S, there's no lower highs, there's no lower lows. So what does that really mean? Defer to the dominant pattern, which is what? Pointing up. If you can't draw fancy trend lines, just look at the moving averages. We're above the short-term price, we're above the long-term price, or simply said, we're bullish in the short term and we're also bullish in the long term. You can clearly see even my throat is working through some problems because, yeah, I've been a little bit backed up, just like the S&P for the last couple of months now. But look at this, right? Dragonfly Doji on the weekly here. This is getting pretty good. And I'll show you another reason why it's getting pretty good. If we look here to QQQ, well, first of all, let's actually look here to the volume because volume's actually going up. It's actually looking pretty good. I'm actually surprised. We can also note here that we're back above our 50-day moving average for one candle close. Why does this matter? Well, because after two, we signal a potential trend change. And now we're going to have to find out whether this is a fizzle, like every time we've previously tested this downtrend, or if we're going to manage to hold it and then actually go higher. This really reminds me of Tesla because, man, this stock has been pretty bad for pretty long. Let's have a look here. We got this long-term downtrend. And that's clearly seen by a red line, which is going to be resistance. So that's the line right here. We're going to delete the cup and handle for now. And what we're basically looking at is that stock gets close to resistance, sell, sell, sell. Here, this is a trap, right? Tries to get over. That ultimately becomes the cup and handle. And then what happens? Sell, sell. And now we're trying to get over. So my big question is whether we are at a sell, right, where we form a channel lower, which is what QQQ was currently doing, right? Was Tesla just leading us there? Or is there more to the story? Because this is not enough yet. We're still pointing down. So on higher time frames, this is what gets me excited, though. We currently have two lower highs and two lower lows. But now let's have a look and see what happened here. Wow, look at this. 473.33. The number right here is last week's high. And this week so far, 474.04. What do we got? We got a weekly higher high. So now the question is, what's going to happen going into the close of the week? Are we going to hold that area? Are we going to fall back below? Because tomorrow is Friday. All right. Now, if we shift gears here to the monthly chart, we note that we're only down by about 0.5%. We're barely even red. This is looking really good. So, all right. 65% chance this happen next. Jerome, I think Jerome wants to have a good job done. He wants to make everyone feel good. He wants a soft landing. All right, now let's listen to Jensen Huang, who is giving us a pretty notable quote here.
What can you tell us about the meeting today?
Well, we're talking about energy, about this new industry called AI factories and artificial intelligence. And obviously, we're at the beginning of a new industrial revolution. And this industry is going to be producing intelligence. And what it takes is energy and, of course, a lot of great computer science and large computing systems that NVIDIA makes. And so we've got to make sure that everybody understands the needs coming, the opportunities of it, the challenges of it, and do it in the most efficient and scalable way we can.
Absolutely. Do you see the need for a federal role here in terms of federal investment in combination with private investment?
Well, there's probably going to have to be public-private collaboration in this area because the rate of growth is really quite high. Although artificial
There you go. The rate of growth is really high, and we're going to need to do a P3, which is a public-private partnership. So that basically means that the government's going to have to work with these companies to make sure that everything is done well. What I'm basically hearing Jensen say in his article we shared yesterday about, hey, people can't get the stuff fast enough. It means there's early adopters, which means if we're really going through an AI boom and it's 1995, not 1999, you're hearing evidence as of 4 hours ago. He's saying, we are at the beginning of a new industrial revolution. We're selling hardware. We're selling picks and shovels. And there's overwhelming demand. They're getting emotional, right? They're getting mad at us. Yes. Innovators to early adopters. Remember that raise we heard from OpenAI yesterday? $150 billion. So now we got through everything to worry about this week. We're here at the 30-year auction and closing that out. Now it's really up to Jerome Powell next Wednesday. Is he going to be the sharp-dressed man, or is he going to hurt the stock market? That's what it really comes down to. Remember, there's two scenarios. Scenario number one, we make a new all-time high. We buy the back test of the all-time high. So now that we're getting awfully close here, what I would be personally looking for would be the weekly chart. So what I want to see is that we have previous resistance here. I want to see us get over it, back test it, pass it, and then buy the back test. What does that mean? Probably at least a few candles. Oh, at least a few candles, you say? Yes. At least a few candles, which means at least getting closer to the election. The market loves certainty. Do things look more certain, or do we still want to be receptive to the idea of going down potentially as low as 510? Why? Because we lost our 510 pivot. If we look here to our monthly chart, we talked about this. We have a double bottom or some kind of inverse head and shoulders, which I showed you on the daily chart. If this area holds, fantastic. We have an area to establish risk if it's still 2008, because we got to see higher lows and higher highs on a relentless move higher. We're at an apex here. It's really important. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Maybe you want to consider smashing a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel and hanging out with me at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow. Thanks so much.